Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today we are reviewing a mock draft I did yesterday. That one was originally a 3-round mock. This is just going to be summing up basically the first round of it. So right now you're looking at all the trades. So Indianapolis ended up moving up to number 3 with Arizona, who was originally there. And then after that, the Raiders actually moved up with Arizona, and then there's that trade and all that. But moving to the first pick, it was CJ Stroud for me. Seems to be the consensus right now for sure. Just more prototypical size, and I think that's what the head coach wants, and the coaching staff over there is prepared for. So that'll be pick number 1. Pick number 2, no surprise, it makes it quite easy actually, with Bryce Young off the board. And then, like we said, like I had the Colts trading up for the pick number 3, so no one else can trade above them to steal Anthony Richardson. Very next pick ends up being Jalen Carter. This is the first big twist. I had the Raiders moving up. It is an incredible need, and if you have him on your board and you're still whatever, maybe you're out on him, maybe you're in on him, but if you're in on him and you're a Las Vegas Raider, whoever makes these deals, trades, and whatnot, the general manager, the head coach, or something, to put in a good word, you need to be able to move all the way up from 7 to 4. I know it's not all the way up, it's 3 picks, but the 3 picks at this point is very big. First 3 picks are quarterbacks. First non-offensive player off the board is Jalen Carter, and for a good reason. Guy could be the best player in this draft in a few years, if you can kind of excuse his character concerns and all that good stuff. Up next makes it really easy for Seattle to just go Will Anderson, stick in pick at 5, really easy. Next pick ends up being Tyree Wilson for the Lions. Just a really toolsy guy that can definitely get it done for you. And I think that he's got a lot of developing to do, which is fine because you'll have to split time with a heavy defensive front with Aleem McNeil, Live Onwuzurike. Later in this mock draft, that we'll get to that as well. They have an 18th overall pick as well, and then Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, all that good stuff. So there's that. Moving on to the very next pick ends up being Devin Witherspoon as CB1 for me, off the board at number 7 out of Illinois. From the trade down, they were originally at 3. They moved down twice. They moved down to 4 with the Indianapolis Colts, and then they moved down to 7 with the Raiders. Next pick is quite incredible. I don't think anyone else, I don't think I've ever seen this, basically. I couldn't decide on what player to take. You don't really need tackle. Caleb McGarry's gone. I didn't find a trade partner that really makes sense. And so I just ended up sticking and picking at a position of need and what can be a great player with good players around him. Drake London and Jackson Smith-Njigba are, if they both develop right and they both are really good, give it 3 years, that could be one of the better receiving duos in the league for sure. Jackson Smith-Njigba will light it up in the slot while you have Drake London, an outside target with a big body. I think that makes a lot of sense for me. You can't talk me out of it now. At 8, Jackson Smith-Njigba's receiver, just the way that the board fell. I wasn't going to take Christian Gonzalez here either. A lot of concerns and flags have showed up for him recently for me. At number 9, Paris Johnson Jr. off the board. Pretty straightforward pick. You've got a pretty iffy line right now with Lucas Patrick, I think it is, at center. You want to move Cody Whitehair back in, or you want to move Tevin Jenkins into guard, move whoever out, probably be Paris Johnson. It's just weird the way that line is. And then we'll move to the next pick, which ends up being Peter Skoronski. Remember, they were at 13 originally, made the trade with the Eagles? The Eagles at 13 and 10. So they move up 3 spots to ensure that they get a tackle after seeing Paris Johnson go. You don't want to lose out on a chance on a guy like Peter Skoronski, who has the ceiling of anyone in this class at offensive line. Maybe not Broderick Jones, though. Be the very next pick at number 11 with the Tennessee Titans. I love this pick. I love the ceiling. I love the situation. I love the team. I like that. I think Vrabel will do a good job there. And then very next pick is where Christian Gonzalez will go off. I wanted to drop him a little bit more, but it just made sense right here. Obviously, Van Ness, Murphy, those edge rushers were in play. Nolan Smith at this point. But Christian Gonzalez is really a good player, I think. And I think he can be a good player. And I think that you're going to bank on that at 12 with him opposite of Derek Stingley Jr. should be fun to watch as the years go on. Lucas Van Ness was the pick for me at 13. You move down 3 spots and you still get probably the same guy I would have picked at number 10. If not Nolan Smith, it was going to be Van Ness. I like the way that Van Ness is with this team a little bit more. Someone had an argument against it saying that they'd take Bijan and Van Ness was a 1-year starter. Van Ness is a very one-dimensional pass rusher, and I agree with that. Sure, he didn't even start, actually. He never actually started for Iowa. And 2, he's got so many tools, high motor, plays the run real well, and has tools to be elite in the pass rushing game. Good power, good strength, all that. And you get to sit behind Brandon Graham. You get to learn from Fletcher Cox. You get to go against the best offensive line in practice every week. And I think that just makes a strong-ass argument for Lucas Van Ness being a great pick here at 13. I love that. And then I actually had the Steelers moving up in this draft with the New England Patriots. I could not make the pick for the New England Patriots, so I tried to find a trade partner that just made sense, and for me it was the Steelers, moving up 3 spots from 17, I believe, to 14 for Joey Porter Jr. I think his dad was a former Steeler as well. Very next pick will end up being Nolan Smith, edge rusher out of Georgia, headed to Green Bay. My favorite team, one of my favorite prospects in this draft. Incredible ceiling. This guy ran in the 4.3s in the combine at, I think, 240. Dude, it's so crazy. He's so good against the run. He's a stand-up edge rusher. He prefers to stand up. It should just be incredible. If, he gets enough time on the line and in the league and whatnot. But here at number 16, made the Maryland connection, going Maryland to Washington, D.C. Deonte Banks, 16, solid corner with a high ceiling, good athlete, all-around great cover corner. 17, Darnell Wright was, like I said, traded down from 14 to 17. Get Darnell Wright, so you still get a right tackle, not bad at all. Then very next pick goes with Kalijah Kancey at number 18. And that's what I meant there. You're going to have versatility all over that line. I don't think that it's ever going to stop. Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, Kalijah Kancey, Tyree Wilson alone. And then to add Aleem McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike into that. And then to add, even Isaiah Buggs, to even add, I don't even know if you have Trey Flowers anymore. I don't think so. But just veteran guys like that. Just wild. The very next pick ends up being Will Levis for me at number 19 with the Buccaneers. Just falls right into their hands. I don't think that you can pass on him at this point. Right now, it's looking like Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask will be battling it out in camp for that starting position. And right now, I think that you can afford to add a third element into that and just add Will Levis in there. Even let Baker start if he impresses you enough in camp. But if not, Levis to have that kind of transition year where they're still trying to figure things out in Tampa Bay. Especially with head coaching staff, even though, oh my God, did I just do that? I did not just do that. Zay Flowers at 20, the Seattle Seahawks. I just love the fit. Zay Flowers plus Tyler Lockett plus DK Metcalf plus the age of Tyler Lockett can really add a different element. You're going to see him develop and learn from Tyler Lockett as one of those smaller receivers in the league, maybe play outside as well, but Zay Flowers to play slot while you have Lockett and DK on the outside, and just the packages that you want to come out in. You can do basically anything with Zay Flowers there. I really like the fit. I really think Zay can be a good player. Is he wide receiver 1 for me off the board other than JSN? So obviously I had JSN here at 8, and then I think, Zay Flowers is the only other one. We'll move on to the very next pick. Ends up being Bijan Robinson. At number 21, obviously they traded up for it. They couldn't take the risk. At number, 26 they had. So they trade up with the Chargers, who are obviously in play for Bijan. So I wish I would have traded up with the Seattle Seahawks looking ahead at it now. But you would have missed out on Zay Flowers possibly. So it's tough. It's a tough spot to pick. But right now it looks like Eckler will play out the rest of his contract. And just be a free agent or traded something in a year. So Bijan at 21, trade up for it, you got the pick, and then now it is Jordan Addison at number 22. Good player, USC, wide receiver 2 on most people's boards. He's probably wide receiver 3 or 2 for me. His size is just so concerning. You don't really want him to come in and weigh that light. I mean, he's 5'11", but he is so light, and I think that that's huge. It's crazy because it basically adds him into that small receiver category with Zay Flowers and Josh Downs and perhaps Marvin Mims if you want to take that into account. But it's crazy right now, this class with small receiver fatigue is a quote I heard, and I really like that. But Quentin Johnston, talk about small receivers, no longer. Quentin Johnston at 23 will be the pick for me. You lose Adam Thielen. You have KJ Osborne to play that wide receiver 3, and I think if anyone's going to come in and play wide receiver 2 for you, kind of replace Adam Thielen, the best of its ability is Quentin Johnston, completely different player than Adam Thielen. You're just replacing kind of the spot on the team. So 23, I think you get a solid player. And then Brian Branch, no question, really, really smart, good football player out of Alabama. Has been, will be good for probably a while if I had to guess. Jacksonville gets an absolute steal at 24. Then at number 25, it'll be offensive guard Osiris Torrance with maybe even right tackle flexibility. But I don't think that we'll see him play there. If he's going to be a Pro Bowl guard, keep him there. Why keep a Pro Bowler from being a Pro Bowler? So don't move him out of there. He just plays interior offensive line. I think that works well with New York. And then very next pick ends up being tackle Anton Harrison. This one was a little hard to mock for sure. I wasn't going to take Jahmyr Gibbs here or anything like that. So I ended up just going at 26. I just ended up going on Anton Harrison. Trey Pipkins right now is lined up to play, I think, right tackle. And, Rashawn Slater may have injury concerns now. And so Anton Harrison will come in at 26 and play there. And then obviously just reveal one of the better picks of the draft, one of my favorite ones, one of the different ones. But Myles Murphy continued to fall down the board. Maybe you guys like, where's Myles Murphy? Yeah, I don't know. He just fell. I'm a big fan for sure. I could have seen him going off the board to the Cowgirls at 26 if obviously someone didn't, or someone took Bijan. Maybe at 24 he was in play. Maybe at 22 he's also in play. But Myles Murphy just fell. And then I had Kansas City moving up with the Buffalo Bills, which obviously probably not likely. And maybe thinking it over again, probably should have done the Chargers. If the Chargers were to trade down again, get future assets, as long as still get a DeJuan Jones or Anton Harrison type player, would have been fine. But at 27, I had Myles Murphy flying off the board. I love that pick. And Kansas City trades up for him. He's a perfect different player than George Karlaftis. I think ran in the 4.5s in the pro day at 260 or so. Incredible athlete. Should be drafted way higher than this, but that's where I had him. And then, like I said, one of my favorite picks of the draft. A little bit different. A lot of people are going tight end here. I could still see that. Tight end's good. You just got Irv Smith, who's kind of like a plug at that spot for right now. We'll see injury concerns, all that good stuff, obviously, with Irv Smith. But at 28, I'm going to wait on tight end. I'm going to go John Michael Schmitz here. Perhaps you can trade back up into the second round if a guy falls far enough. And John Michael Schmitz will be the pick for me at 28. I love that pick. You just got to protect Joey B, perhaps with one of the better center prospects we've seen. Maybe other than Tyler Linderbaum. But Mozzie Smith at 29 is not bad. Space Eater, big body in the middle of that defensive line. Don't hate it. Right here is between Brian Brzee and Mozzie Smith for me. Ended up just going Mozzie Smith. I think would be a little bit of a better fit / player. And then at 30, Philadelphia, who obviously got Van Ness earlier at 13, gets Jahmyr Gibbs at 30. So you do address running back a little bit later. Someone that's a little bit more explosive. Obviously, he's a little bit smaller. But to complement Rashad Penny and Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a completely different player than all those guys. So really do like Jahmyr at the spot, and I think that he will excel up in the league. They could probably get him early second round. I think they have an early second round pick. But ended up just pulling the trigger here if you like him enough. At 31, basically the last pick of the first round, we ended up going Brian Brzee. You just trade down and you get the best interior there. Daquan Jones is currently lined up with alongside Ed Oliver. And I don't know how long you want that to happen, to have Brian Brzee, who was such a phenomenal, unstoppable force before all of his, traumatic things and big events that happen in his life. Obviously, those are not something you take lightly. And Brian Brzee, if he can ever get back to that type of player, would be an absolute massive steal at 31. No pun intended. And we'll just go to number 32. Anyways, it was DeJuan Jones, Pittsburgh Steelers for me. Just a tackle, plug and play. But technically, this is the second round. So if you guys want to see the second and third round, make sure to let me know. It was a fun mock draft. I really thought about this one. It took me about 3 hours to probably do, 3.5 hours. I was working on it for quite a lot of time, but that was obviously with 2 and 3, thinking the same for every pick. Probably take a lot of time per pick, but there are some picks like Deonte Banks, like Will Levis, like maybe Brian Branch or like I don't know. Brian Brzee was kind of hard to get there at 31, but yeah, that was all for me. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. And if you guys did enjoy / like this mock draft, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. But if you guys also hate it, also make sure to let me know in the comments down below. But if you guys watched it, enjoyed the video, watched it all the way to now, I do appreciate it. And especially should consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and leaving a like on the video. I would appreciate both of those plenty. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this.